All right, we should be back. Welcome once again to HeroQuest fans. Let me just restart the stream. Okay, so Striker, I'm going to ask for your help here. What was the last thing that you heard me say? So what I just revealed on here is that the when the blip tokens all moved from here to here for the bad guy's turn, the android was revealed, and the android is the secondary mission. So did you get all that? He looks like a Terminator endoskeleton. These would have been called a Necron in 40K, and I'm not an expert on 40K lore. All right. Well, anyway, yeah. Sorry about that. Just weirdness with the stream today. It's and if I'm streaming during the day, it's different because yeah, you think okay, people are out and about, they're doing other stuff, but for all we know, they're online and they're hogging up all the bandwidth. So yeah. Anyway, I pay enough for internet. You think I get a decent connection, but it's not always good. Okay. So anyway, Android is revealed, and how much movement does the Android get? Only 4 squares. So really, he can't move any extra squares. Now, if you look at the Android stats, I mean, you have to take this guy out to get the secondary. Otherwise, you're going to forfeit 15 points. So he fires with 3 white, or he's got 2 hand-to-hand red, but he can't really do that. So his armor is only 2. But yeah, he's worth a lot of points. So I think he's going to fire. He has his choice. So I think he's going to fire at the assault cannon guy because that guy's stronger. So he's going to fire with 3 white. But yeah, thanks, Striker. Anybody else, you see a problem with the stream, let me know right away, and I'll do my best to fix it because stuff happens. All right, so there's a 1 and 2 zeros. So that's not enough to break the armor. He has armor of 2. So that Space Marine gunner, he is unarmed. And I've moved these other guys as much as they can be moved. So that's the end of the alien's turn, right? So now it's time for the Space Marines. And I got to be careful because my commander is down to 1. Okay, one life point. But he can move 6. So let's see. 1, 2. I got to look at the walls again. For access. Yeah, there's no clear line of fire, except possibly here, actually. Can he hit him from here? Oh, wow. Look at that. Is that right? Yeah, looks like he can hit him. Now, if you watch it later and say, oh, you're completely wrong, it's like, well, at the time, it looked like I could hit him. So I'm going to fire my heavy bolter at the android. Now, where is he actually? Is he right here? I think he's right here. There's nobody in the path. Just making sure that's right. Yep, you can shoot him. Okay, so I'm going to shoot him with my heavy bolter. Shoot the android, and who knows? This could be 15 points, could be mine right now. Because they say it's the mission, but I mean, normally this guy is worth 10 points, so it could be 10 plus 15. That's probably what they intended, so that gives me more points if I think of it that way. So I'm going to take every point I can get without cheating. 5. Ultramarines for the win, because his armor is only 2. So he just killed that guy easily. Just slaughtered that guy. 10 points. 10 points collected plus, where's that secondary token? I have to pull it out. Pull out the token, that is. There, that's what they get. Secondary mission completed 15, assuming they survive, of course. And I set the little token down somewhere. Well, anyway, just remember 10 extra points there, plus 15. So secondary is completed. All right, so we could get out of here. I mean, that's what we could do. So let's see. We've got 25, 35, 45, 52. We lost 10, so 42. That's pretty respectable. Just look at the stats here. 1 second, just do a little calculation. I mean, I'm not saying I want to end the game early, but if we've completed our mission, you know, the rest is just gravy, right? So 62, yeah, 52. So 52 would be how much? So looking at the little stats here, so 42 would be a commendable performance. You're awarded 2 honor badges. Not too shabby. And the bad guys only killed 1 guy, so that's 10. Now, even if I minimized it, 32 would still be commendable performance. So nothing changes. It's still the same honor, same award. Whereas the bad guys would only get 10. Oh, what am I saying? They killed the dreadnought. That was the primary mission. Ha! Forgot to count that up. So 72 points. So actually, that's great. That'd be a heroic performance. You were ordered 3 honor badges, right? And even if we say, 62, that's like the highest you can get. So the Ultramarines cleaned up this time. They really did. Now I didn't put out as many blip tokens, but that was my decision to make as the alien player. I mean, you can basically steamroll the other team by just saying, okay, all my blip tokens go out at the beginning, and there's nothing you can do about it. So do I flee or do I try to get a few more points? That is the question. Because the commander killed that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 3 guys. Realistically, I could take out 3 more enemies, possibly 4, if I was really good. But if not, I'm gonna have to deal with those guys. You know what? Maybe let's see if we can get a couple more points. Because at not to waste my guys, but I would only lose 5 points if Cuddy gets killed. I'd lose 10, 10, and then of course I'd lose 10, and my chance for ranking up and everything. Now I would automatically rank up for winning by having the most points, so that entitles me to another order. So it could be pretty good. All right, but it's a gamble, it's a risk, because I already know some of these guys are just Gretchens and they're pretty weak. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Assault cannon guy, he's going to fire. Now he can hit multiple targets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He could wipe them all out if he gets enough. Because with the assault cannon, you get to distribute the damage. Now he doesn't get to do any rerolls or anything. So whatever he gets is what he gets. 3. It's respectable. Oh yeah, I got to reveal what these guys are so we can see them all. So there's a Gretchen, 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 another Gretchen. Okay, so we got 3. Now you can only kill 3 of them because he distributes the points evenly. So there they all are for all the time that they're going to spend on the board. Okay, so let's just say he takes out the first 3. Might as well. So boom, boom, boom. So that's 2, 4, 6 more points collected. And I know those are torn, but they're all 2s. They're all the same. Okay. Now, just to ensure my victory, let's move the other guy here. So Cuddy, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to shoot at the Gretchen with his bolter. Now he only has 2 white, but Gretchen doesn't have any armor, so even if he gets 1, it's going to be a kill shot. 1. There you go. So killed the Gretchen, that's 2 more points. Boom. See, it's easy now. Now that the android and the dreadnought are gone. Do I keep exploring? Because I could get more points, but I've maxed out the points, so there's really no point now. I mean, the other thing about this house rule is I decided that any extra equipment you have to return it at the end of the mission. So it's not like, I mean, normally you get 4 cards of equipment, and if you rank up, you get 5. So if I found like 4 or 5 more equipment cards, on the next one I would still just be reset to 4 or 5 based on my rank. So let's just say, oh, but I still got to worry about these alien event cards because as I'm running to the door, these cards can be drawn, just like the evil wizard cards, the Zargon cards in HeroQuest homebrew. So I mean, I could just be like killing guys as before they get to the door, and all their winnings are gonna just be used to bury them with honors, and that's it. So okay, so the bolter guy went. So let's just get him out of there. So Blaze 1, 2, 3, 4. Back into the hallway. So we're going back to the docking claw. That's how we got in through the bulkhead door. And now we've got to do alien event. See what it is. Gretchen Bomber. Now this would have helped me a moment ago. Anyone Gretchen may throw a frag grenade instead of firing. Well, since they're all dead, this doesn't do anything. Too bad for the bad guys. All right. Commander, let's get him out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost out. All right, this guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We got our other Ultramarines. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, alien event. Could be something bad. Everybody explodes. The whole place explodes. Report in. Play on one of the Marine players. The player may not move or attack with his commander miniature on his next turn, as he must report in. Well, I know what the report's going to be. Kill them all. Well, we didn't explore these other 2 sectors. I mean, if you take the rules absolutely strictly literal, the only way to win is to kill every monster you encounter. Now, does that mean you have to explore the entire board and then kill them all? Or does it mean just the ones that you see you have to kill? And as long as one of those is the dreadnought that you kill, then you've completed it. I'm going to say this is fine. I don't have to explore the entire board and kill every single one. But if there were any revealed on the board, I couldn't just leave them alive because then I wouldn't get the points. I wouldn't have completed the mission. And since I've killed the android and I've killed the dreadnought, I think that's good enough. And my commander's about to die anyway, so if you were asking the Marine player to vote, he would certainly say, I'm done. Okay, so reported in, so the commander doesn't get to move. There's no aliens. So 1, 2, 3, he's out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, alien event. See, now if he had stayed, he could protect him, but, decided to move to safety. Won't lose him. Frenzy. Anyone, Gretchen or Orc, may attack twice. Well, there aren't any, so that accounts for nothing. All right, commander doesn't get to move. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's out. So Cuddy's out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alien event. Master controls. You may open or close as many doors on the board as you wish. Well, I don't wish to open or close any doors. So doesn't matter. Now the commander gets to move. 1, 2, he's out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're closing the bulkhead door, sealing it up tight. We're out of here, and the Ultramarines have accomplished their mission. They won. Let's do a final tally of the counting up the loot. So they've avenged the deaths of the commanders, or the Space Marines that were there previously, and those orcs, those friendly orcs that would have died as well if they went through, and any Eldar that were also killed. All right, so I don't think any Eldar actually died. So we got 30 primary, we got 45 there for secondary. 2 Gretchen, or 2 points for Gretchen, 4 points for Gretchen, 6, 8, 10. I got 25 for the Dreadnought, and then we got 10 each for the Chaos Space Marine Commander and Android. So we got 45, 70, or wait, 30, 55, 70, 80, 90. So 100 points. Subtract 10 for the guy that died, so it's 90. Wow. Is that right? Yeah, because we lost a heavy weapon. So 90 points. That's amazing. Okay, so we clearly won because the alien player only got 10. So that means 2 honor badges are awarded. And they automatically rank up. So that's what an honor badge looks like. So we got one of those. It sounds like I'm bragging. That's what an honor badge looks like, son. You get 2 of those. Surely there's another one in here. Yes, there is. Don't call me Shirley. Okay, so there's 2 of those. And I don't think they go up 2 ranks. I think they just go up 1. If I'm understanding that correctly. I had to set my manual down here somewhere. Well, we're basically at the end here, everybody. So thank you for joining us here on HeroQuest Fans. I can sort this out later, but basically they go up in rank. And as you go up in rank in this game, the leveling system says that, oh, here they are. You get more order cards. So if we're looking at the good guys here, so 51 or more, a heroic performance, you're awarded 3 honor badges. Excuse me, so 3. So they actually did extremely well. And I'm surprised because really the game is not set up for 2 players to be very well balanced, they say, according to what people have said online, because I'm a noob at this game. So there's the third one. Is that typically it's like you got 3 divisions of Marines versus the 1 alien player, and then the alien player is kind of overmatched, overwhelmed. So it's really like 2 squads of Marines. And if they really know what they're doing and get some good rolls, some lucky rolls, and the alien player doesn't just mob them at the beginning. Of course, I think I did a pretty good job of challenging them. I mean, yeah, I didn't put every blip token out immediately, but I mean, they did get the Dreadnought right away. They got the Android almost right away, because I mean, it could be, you got it at the very end. It's just random draw. So let's look at the instructions here and see what you get. So when you win, you automatically rank up. Here, let me just adjust this here. So when you're playing the campaign, so the Marine player, you start at the rank of Sergeant. That's what this one is. You can see it. It's a little dark. There we go, Sergeant. Now, if your guy gets killed and you start another mission, he's back to being a sergeant. So the next rank up is Lieutenant Primus. So that's this. You just flip it over, it's Lieutenant Primus. So if you're looking for a complete set, So he ranked up and he gets 2 order cards instead of just 1. So went up in rank. That's cool. And of course, he gets a full complement of Marines next time. So they all get replaced. But you definitely don't want your commander to get killed because then you lose your progress. Honor badges. So 3 honor badges would mean that you get 7 equipment cards rather than 4. So 7. So that's amazing. Amazing progress. So I really lucked out there. Good rolls. And yeah, I really was trying to kill the guys. I don't think I held back really, other than with placing the blip tokens. So I'm just curious, just doing a little aftermath here. So I did have these blip tokens left at the end. So what would they have been? Okay, would have been blank, so nothing. An orc, oh, and a chaos space marine, a regular one. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This guy could have been a problem. These other guys are just cannon fodder. They wouldn't have done much. This guy could have been a problem, but yeah, well played. But really, I mean, just this guy versus 2 heavy weapons, or 3 technically with the commander, because the commander gets a heavy weapon, but he can move like a regular marine. So yeah. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us here on HeroQuest fans. That was Space Crusade. I'm impressed because you never know how you're going to do. I mean, I've seen plenty of games where they send out the Marines and they just get slaughtered. Other times, I've played, I failed to complete the mission. Like you saw when I played with the orcs had to flee. There was just one guy left. He had to run out in shame. And with the Eldar, when they played, I mean, they lost like almost everybody and they had to flee. So it just happens that way. But other times, you can do better. Actually, I think I take it back. The Eldar did amazingly well. I was impressed of how powerful they actually are. But they give you 10 guys. And so, okay, you've got 10 of them. And if you lose a lot of your squad, I mean, if you only have 2 guys left and they have to flee, it's kind of like, it's not as satisfying. I mean, you really want to, the best case scenario, you clear out all 4 boards, you don't lose any of your guys, and you're just riding high. But then at some point, someone's going to say, cheater, or they're going to say, it's too hard. So the only guy that we lost was Strangelove. He got wiped out. But I mean, the ranking goes to the commander and it applies to the whole squad. So it kind of doesn't matter who survives. But I like the idea that, I brought them all home except for that one guy. So anyway, that's game. Thanks everybody for joining us. And I'm just going to check one more time to see who we've got in the stream right now. Get any new people. So 8 of us. And let me see. So Strange Bus sent me some messages. Yeah, no, Strange Bus, sorry about that. Yeah, you jumped in and then we were resetting the stream and then you came back and you're like, it's dead, and then you left again. Yeah, I was gonna say we should raid him just for that, but I don't think he's streaming right now. Are any of my people streaming? Let's see. If any of the people that I normally follow or listen to were streaming, I would say let's raid them. Can anybody suggest a channel to raid? It's always fun. If it's board game related, HeroQuest related, fantasy, video games, especially retro games or Star Wars games, I'm all for that. Yeah. Any suggestions on who we should raid now that this stream is ending? Yeah, so Striker, I just want to make a comment here. I mean, I'm not going to judge you if you download an abandonware PC game, from 1991 online. But I do want you to keep one thing in mind. So if you go on eBay, if you're a collector and you're trying to find the HeroQuest computer game, keep in mind whether you get it on floppy disk or on CD-ROM, it's the exact same game. Like they made no improvements from 91 to 95. It's the exact same game. And it does not utilize the CD-ROM at all. I mean, it's just a storage device. There's no special music. There's no like cool add-ons. They didn't make any improvements. It's just a really rudimentary, loosely based on the European version of the HeroQuest board game. Now there is a problem with the abandonware stuff. The abandonware, if you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the version that they have has a bug in it. So you can save the progress of the elf, the barbarian, and the wizard. Or no, the elf, the dwarf, and the wizard. But the barbarian you can't save. So if you need to complete the entire game in one session, or like let's say the barbarian like found the spirit blade. You save everybody, but you can't save his inventory. So in the next game, he's just going to have nothing. He's not going to have the spirit blade. And in that game, you can't pass items between heroes, so you're going to have to know exactly what you're getting. So that is one benefit to buying the actual game itself. But it's probably going to cost you like 45, 50, or even $60. So it's up to you. But I will say the PC game, it's interesting. It's got some cool music. I feature the video on my channel. That's one of the earliest videos I ever uploaded was HeroQuest on the PC for DOS. It's uh, it's very easy. It's extremely easy. Like if you have the patience to finish the game, I mean you can't real time save. You can only just save your progress in between quests. It's super easy because the monsters they can't leave the room. So all you have to do is just step just outside the door, and you can just shoot them anywhere in the room with your crossbow. You can just pick them off, and they can't attack you. Also, if you're on the like it looks at just like a section of the map at a time. So if you have a monster just off camera, you can attack them, but they can't attack you. So you can take advantage of that fact and just decimate the monsters. And the monsters will just blindly, just like with the companion app, they just blindly run forward. So if there's like a piece of furniture in the way, they get stuck, and you can still shoot like right over the top of the furniture and hit them with your spell or your arrows. Holy water, instead of holy water killing one undead monster, like in the European version of the game, it kills all the undead monsters in the room or corridor with you, all of them in one go. Now you can't carry potions from one quest to the next, which is how the European rules were. The disarming of traps is really weird. Like you can disarm like multiple traps on a turn, I think. You could be oh yeah, falling block traps. They're weird. Like falling block traps, I've never seen them actually do damage to a hero. Like cuz you step on the trigger and then the rock falls somewhere else in the room. But I've seen it land on top of a hero's head and he just got like a rock like underneath him like he's standing on the rock and it does no damage. So it's some kind of glitch there. It's too bad they didn't like tweak it when they re-released it on CD-ROM. I mean, it's just the same game. What else? Oh, the wizard is much stronger because so there's no cloak and there's no bracers, but the wizard can use not only Borin's armor and Orc's Bane and the Spirit Blade, which okay, in the European version they don't say he can't do that. He can use a battle axe. He can wear plate armor. He can use a crossbow. There's no restrictions on the wizard. Okay, Striker says AI in the companion app won't attack if it uses every movement to reach a hero. It's weird. Oh, yeah, that makes no sense because once you're adjacent to somebody, like if he was attacking him, of course he can attack him. So if he ran all the way, like he's too tired to fight, that makes no sense. See, I would just roll for him anyway and just subtract the damage from the hero if that's the case. Because yeah, the companion app does some weird things. I played the very first version of it. I just borrowed someone's smartphone, downloaded the app, and just tried it. And I was like, it's the start of something. But yeah, I just deleted it. And yeah, since I don't really use mobile devices, if they made it available for the PC, like you could just download it, you didn't need the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. If you could just, play it, because you can use iTunes on a regular PC. Like I tried using an emulator, BlueStacks, which some people say is great and other people say is terrible. Like it it wouldn't connect. Like somehow it was like I wasn't really online and I didn't know how to fix it, so I couldn't even download it. So yeah. But what I've heard is the app did add support for not only Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord, and it also has the Mythic Heroes. They also added the Forsaken Tunnels of Zorzel and Rogar's Hall. And I presume this New Beginning Hero quest that they just released for free is also going to go on there, which is all cool. But I mean, what if I want to play a homebrew quest? Like the companion app is not going to help me with that. And the whole point of the companion app is so that, like, if you don't have a player to control Zargon, if you just want to be a hero and play by yourself, or have, three friends with you and they all want to be heroes and not be Zargon, the companion app is going to be Zargon, but he's going to be like an idiot. He's not going to have any like strategic stuff or creativity. And if you want to play a quest that's brand new, you don't get that opportunity. So when I designed my solo quest with the shadow tiles, that's what I was aiming for, is that you could play any quest. Now the only problem is it's not going to take into account all the cool quest notes that you write and the storyline. It's not going to give you the fun of searching for secret doors, but it is going to randomize the monsters and it is going to randomize the treasure and the furniture. So there is that. Yeah, they at least fixed some other dumb AI things before. So Striker 667, we're talking about HeroQuest now. I know HeroQuest fans, imagine that. So Striker, if you've played the companion app recently with all the updates, can you tell me, does it do the monsters attack the hero with the most body points? Is that how it works? Because I was told in the very original version. Oh, thank you. You liked my one player version. Yeah, I was told in the original they just dumbly move forward and attack the first hero that's in range. Then somebody was saying, oh yeah, they always went against the barbarian. But it's like, well, the barbarian's got 8 body points. So if the barbarian and the wizard are right next to him, if he goes for the barbarian, that kind of makes sense. Do they attack the strongest hero? Is that how it works? Or do you know? What I think they should do is they should have just check boxes, just options, or maybe a difficulty slider. Say like, these are the tactics Zargon's going to use. I mean, will he have monsters run away when you have courage? Like that'd be one thing to do. Will he have monsters attack the strongest hero, attack the nearest hero? Will all the monsters focus their attacks on one hero? Will they attack the weakest hero? I mean, there's ways you could do that, you know. Or will they stand outside the door? Will they use the door blocking technique? It seems to target my wizard if it's adjacent to another hero. That's interesting. Oh yeah, so you could have the hero, the monster moves up to him and like attack. Like he moves up and then he attacks that guy. Like, hey, just kidding. I mean, that's kind of a weird thing, but the thing is, like when Zargon's controlling the monsters, I mean, they have a hive mind. It's not like, well, this monster is out of range, so he doesn't know. It's like Zargon tells him where to go, and he just blindly follows. So if he's going to be cannon fodder, or if he's going to be strategic, it doesn't matter how dumb the monster is. If he's got 1 mind point or 0 mind points. Well, in case of 0 mind points, they really are being controlled like automatons. Yeah. Yeah, so the system I came up with was actually very much inspired by this. So let me grab this stuff. I mean, yeah, this is kind of a Hashem, his criticism is me repeating myself. I mean, you get new people. Maybe they haven't seen every video, so they don't know what I said in a previous stream, but just one moment. Oh, I forgot I had this stuff still out. So this is what I did. Other people have come up with their own system for doing like solo Hero Quest playing. So I have these tokens here, and I was going to draw them out just like a Scrabble bag, You got your little, just take a little dice bag. So just like how Space Crusade has these blip tokens, say they're just like shadow tokens. So you got your fantasy version, and instead of points, that's how much gold they're worth. Okay, so that's a goblin. That's a treasure chest. And we got orcs. And yeah, I just cut them out by hand, but thought, oh, a vermin. So it's just a rat. It's just, it's like the cat in the horror movie. It's just nothing. Um, Cupboard. Yeah, there's a skeleton. And I based it on the familiar map icons. Equipment. So this would be like you have an equipment deck and you can just draw to see what you get. Yeah, so some of these aren't even monsters. And so in Space Crusade and Eldar Attack, there were equipment ones. There were blank ones, there were nothing, and there were equipment ones that you could get. So it actually could benefit you, could help you. Now, I also wanted it to be, some dangers as well. So this one here is a fireburst trap. So that explodes and hits everybody in the room with 3 combat dice. No defense, but you can easily get out of the way, or you can disarm it with a Tempest. I decided that the dwarf can disarm that with his trap disarming ability. Okay, so Striker says before it would just attack closest, but now it'll attack my weaker wizard when it has a choice. Well, see, I'm okay with that because really they should be able to attack anybody. But just as a strategy, would they target? Because if Zargon's trying to win, you want to target the weakest hero and just all the monsters attack him until he's dead. Then go for the next guy and so on and so on. Attack the biggest threat. So there's a scroll. So draw a spell scroll. That's the idea behind that. And what I said in my rules was that so you can only search for treasure if there's actual furniture in the room. So again, similar to my homebrew rule for Space Crusade. Even though in Hero Quest technically you get a card, but if there's furniture in the room, you draw a card and get whatever. But I decided that if in Hero Quest using the solo rules, if the furniture like is revealed because it's within sight, it's revealed out in the corridor, it just disappears. It's just gone because you can't have furniture in corridors normally, and I don't want them to block doors either. So if it's blocking the doorway, it just blows up. Or if there's no room, like if there's a bunch of bookcases, yeah, they'll push each other to the side, but the furniture gets destroyed to make room for whatever is needed. So that's how I handle it, and it seems to work pretty well. The problem is the very first time I played it, I had way too many tokens. So, I mean, it was like the hardest thing you could imagine. So the game would go on forever, or the heroes would just get wiped out. Second time I played it, I didn't use enough tokens, so it was like too easy. So I think this tomorrow, if all goes well, the plan is tomorrow we're going to play, and I'm going to have 12 tokens per quadrant in Hero Quest. So 48 instead of 64. Or, yeah, let's see. Yeah, 64 is too many. 32 is too few. 48 is probably the sweet spot. And it's just a generic storyline. And as far as the quest layout, like I just grabbed the maze because it's not a quest that a lot of people play and it's got a lot of rooms and it's pretty easy to figure out. And you have 4 starting points. So it's really easy to make a generic quest. So Striker says the app is serviceable for a first playthrough. I only got to play 1 quest as a kid. Oh, really? I was Zargon and the heroes died. Never got to play again. So was that because you killed them all that they were just like, nah, I don't like this game? I mean, I could see that. And I'm guessing you played the trial because that's a really hard quest. It's like 35 or 37 monster body points. So anyway, I'm just going to take a quick snapshot of points. All right, well, we had a pretty good time here talking about stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot to adjust that. See, I always forget to look at this. So see, it only goes to 45 points. So that's why I much prefer to print this out. And this is on Yielden. I printed that out so that you can have, a little squad information sheet. So just look up Space Crusade squad information sheet. I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this, to just say, okay, well, there it all is. And you can just use a pencil. And whether you've got 10 guys or 5 guys, you can easily do it. Yeah, 2 pages. So the first 8 and then the second page. And it doesn't matter if you've got orcs, you've got Eldar, whatever you want. Yeah, it was hard and my parents thought it was too complicated. Oh yeah, playing with the family. Yeah. But as far as board games go, I mean, Hero Quest does have a higher learning curve than like Candyland or I guess Monopoly is mostly just counting money. So if you know how to count, it's not that hard. You just gotta have patience. Life. I mean, there's some games, yeah, there's more strategy involved, but yeah, usually you're just counting money and that's it. Do I go to the left or do I go to the right? If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, it can be a little more tricky because you've got more arithmetic to do. You might have a theater of the mind kind of game where you've got to like plot out, distances. War games, you got to have lots of space. So you got to build a table or something. You got to build terrain. I guess you can use trash. You know, this pile of books is a mountain. This pop can is a bunker that you can hide behind. But you've got to like have a measuring tape, or you got to have a ruler. You got to have all this other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like if you just want to relax and play a game, like okay, yeah, you play chess. Everybody knows how to play chess, pretty much. Checkers, backgammon. I'd actually have to look. Backgammon is one of those games where you got the cool like dice cups to roll your dice, just like Yahtzee and everything, and you can gamble or not gamble. Mahjong, like I didn't play Mahjong until fairly recently. My family got a set and was like, okay, let's learn how to play it. And then I realized, gee, there's like so many different rules that you can use. You can play a really simple game or a really hard game. If you're not playing for money, it's just playing for bragging rights. It can just be something relaxing. Yeah, it wasn't that interesting. Well, the thing is, some people are really bored by Hero Quest. The game goes on too long. Maybe you get a lot of bad rolls and it's just boring because it doesn't have a lot of role playing and storytelling. I mean, there's just the story bumpers front and back. Most of the time, you're just flipping cards over and rolling dice. That's it. You know, it's just whatever you put your imagination into it. So it's definitely simpler than Dungeons and Dragons. It's simpler than like Space Hulk and all these other games. It's just it's simplified. So yeah, it has learning curve if you're like 5 or 10 years old, but yeah, an adult can figure it out. The question is, are they going to be interested? And it's not like Battle Masters where you need like a giant table or you got to play it on the floor. And if you got bad knees, yeah, backgammon is tough with the random luck aspect. Okay. Yeah, I think I learned it as a kid, but I didn't play it enough to really remember. So now I'd have to like relearn it completely. Backgammon, I think, is one of the oldest games that people still play these days, at least in the Western world. Like some of these games go back a long time. I mean, chess you think is very ancient, but really modern chess, I mean, it's like 19th century is I think the last time it was really solidified with the rules. And you think of more modern games that people play like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever else, Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, you say that all those games are just designed to just suck your money by getting you to collect stuff. But even Warhammer, it's been around since the 80s. Dungeons and Dragons has been around since the 70s. The games before that, like Chainmail, and before that, there was some other. Well, wargaming has been around. Was it since World War One or World War Two? It was the 1920s. Of course, the 20s is when mahjong became a thing. Yeah. So there's lots of interesting games. I mean, I could make this a generic board game channel and just do board games all the time. But the main games I'm interested in are Hero Quest. After trying out Space Crusade, I think I invested my money well. I mean, I'm not going to sell this set off to somebody else. It's actually quite fun. And it's given me ideas to put into Hero Quest. I like Battle Masters. It's hard to play because it takes up so much room and it takes, you know, this setup is just not very good for Battle Masters. I would like to record a game sometime though and do that. As far as advanced Hero Quest and advanced Space Crusade, I mean they're so rare. I really don't have the budget to get a set, and it just doesn't look that interesting to me. Well, thank you, Striker. I appreciate that. So I think at this point we're just kind of spinning our wheels. We're just kind of chatting. So let me just see. Is there anybody else in the chat? I mean, I know that's how it often happens. Is you get one person in the chat interacting with the host, and then everybody else kind of lurks, which is fine. It's not like you're required to say anything. But anybody else have any questions? Anything to say? Anything constructive or critiques? Yeah, one game that I didn't give a chance when I was a kid is Tiddlywinks. Like, believe it or not, Tiddlywinks. I was like, okay, you got to click the plastic, and it didn't seem to work. You're supposed to make the chips fly up in the air and land in the cup. And it was so hard to do, and it's like, why is it so hard? It looks so easy, but it's so hard. Turns out the way you're supposed to play it is with a tablecloth, like a tablecloth or a piece of felt, and then it works a lot better than if you just play it on a smooth table surface. Like usually the discs just fly across the table. It's like it's so hard, but it's much easier when you've got like a cloth surface. So I found a set. I tried it out and it's like, wow, you can actually do it. And it's funny because I was reading the history, and with Tiddlywinks, first it was just like, oh yeah, this is just a way to get kids to waste time, like keep them out of your hair, kind of like giving a kid a Game Boy on a long road trip. It's like, yeah, just occupy them. But actually, you've got these adults that play these like hardcore like tournaments with each other. It was like a trendy thing in some countries to play Tiddly, and those could be banners. I don't know if I'll use those or not. But see, look at that. So I've got red Tiddlywinks. I can cut these out and have red shields for my dwarves, or green, or blue. So yeah, Steam take again. Oh, is the stream messed up? Sorry about that. How about now? Okay. Yeah, so Striker, never played that one. One of a few popular casual board game I didn't get to play. Yeah, when I was a kid, we, I realized not every family does it, and so it's a privilege to be able to play, board games together. Um, we would play chess, checkers. Again, I learned how to play backgammon, but wasn't really that interested and never kept it up. We played a game called Tripoli, which is a card game where you use poker chips, and it was a mixture of Michigan Rummy, hearts, and poker, which is really fun. And that game could go on for just hours and hours. I think I was at a family gathering once where, like, we played for like a good hour or two, and I got out, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, go do some other stuff. And then I come back like a couple hours later, I got whatever I was doing done, probably wrapping Christmas presents, and it's like everybody else is still playing. It's like, dang, because you're chatting and stuff. But I mean, everybody's just moving along, and it just the game didn't end. Chinese checkers. Oh yeah. So I remember playing Chinese checkers, and yeah, it's not really Chinese, but that's what it's always been called. Um, I probably played that at like summer camp or some kind of like, I don't know, sleepover. You get together with some other kids and like, oh yeah, let's play this game, and play it once or twice. Parcheesi, same way. But yeah, we would play Monopoly, and we always played the time limit version where you just play it for an hour or 90 minutes, and whoever has the most money at the end wins. So it's kind of just like, don't spend your money, don't spend your money, and then at the end you're gonna win. But it's you get to spend some time together as a family, tell some jokes, eat some snacks. It's kind of a fun time together, even if it's not like super strategic, just kind of a chill game. Life, the Life game. Now they have many of these games are still around. They have many different versions. Life, the one that we had, what you had the plastic spinny wheel, and I've got a set somewhere. I'll have to show it on a future stream. But yeah, you spin that wheel, and it was so cool. So instead of rolling dice, you spin this wheel, and it would go, and it's just like it was like the Wheel of Fortune, like a small version of it. Yeah, Monopoly. I lose friends and family over that one. Well, Monopoly, the way you're supposed to play it, the classic way. I mean, again, this is like Shadzar's complaint. Like the rules say you don't have to play it one way. There's more than one right way to play it. It says right in the rules. So it's not like, you're not a true fan if you don't play it the right way. But the original rules that everybody remembers are you're supposed to play until everybody but one is bankrupt. How many people actually play that way? Because that could take all evening. You know, if you just play for an hour or two, it's like whatever. I mean, a lot of these games nowadays, people just don't have the patience, and so, or you're an adult, you got to get up for work in the morning. You can't stay up all night playing this game. I mean, talk about Risk. Like I remember turning down a game of Risk because I'm like, it takes an hour to set up. I don't. I'm gonna I'm gonna be bored by then. But forget playing like Axis and Allies. Like that's like an 8-hour game, 6 to 8 hours, I think. So they made simplified versions that only take 4 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours. It's like wake me up when we get to 1 hour. But if that's your game, maybe you're gonna be like, sure. We're at summer camp. Uh, you broke your leg and you're healing, so let's just play this long game. I'd rather play one game, get done with it, play another one. But I get sucked into Hero Quest. I don't mean the game to go on for 4 to 6 hours. If it was only a 1 hour or 2 hour game, I'd be fine with that. It's like play another game until you're tired. What other games? Yeah, Battleship. I think we played that. That was like a summer camp type of game too. Mousetrap I never owned. I always wanted it, and I actually got a copy to show my niece. But that's kind of like, well, the real game is you're supposed to collect the cheese and go around, and then you finally get a chance, to build a piece, and then at the end you try to capture them with the mousetrap. But most people just take it out of the box, build the mousetrap, and ooh, it's cool. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine. Didn't like mousetrap. And then my friend had a lot of board games, so he had a Star Wars game. Actually, it was a Return of the Jedi game where you were around the Sarlacc pit and you were on the sail barge, Jabba's sail barge, and you're supposed to fight the Gamorrean guards and fight the guys on the skiff and knock them into the Sarlacc pit. We didn't actually play it though, but it was I think some of the pieces were missing, but it was like, oh, this is cool. They're just little miniature Star Wars Return of the Jedi figures, and you can knock them into this cardboard pit of Carcoon. See, that's a game they need to remake because they reprinted and re-released some of the other Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back games, which just the games look super boring. They don't look interesting at all. But they came with like retro figures, so it's like that's why people bought it to get the like Funko Reaction reprint style action figures, like the Kenner figures from the 80s, the 70s and 80s, before Power of the Force. Let's see what other games. Yeah, so chess, checkers, Life, Monopoly, Hero Quest, the original Hero Quest. Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord we had as well. Yeah, Backgammon, Tiddlywinks, Jacks. Now there's a game. You gotta have nimble fingers. You gotta bounce the ball, and you either gotta catch the ball or you just let it bounce once, and you grab as many jacks as you can. You gotta get the ones that are your right color. I wasn't coordinated enough to play that. Marbles. Marbles were kind of like the Pokemon or the um, Magic the Gathering of like a century ago. So you have these kids, you get your set of marbles, and you play the other kids, and you beat them, and then you win their marbles. Playing for keeps, they called it. So the parents would get mad at the kids because like, well, you played the game, and we bought you these marbles, and now you lost them all, and the other to the kid, you know, stop it. But I mean, you're a kid, you're supposed to save your allowance or do your chores so that you can afford to buy marbles, and you try to beat the other guy and get his marbles. Pogs were like that too. Yeah. It's like the game was designed to get the kids to be super competitive and spend lots of money so that they could beat their friends. Or if they were a bad loser and they kept losing, they would have to spend more money to stay in the game. So it's kind of like a quasi gambling. You could say it's predatory because kids don't know anything. It's just you're just having fun, and you're like, oh, if I have to spend money to have fun, I'll just keep spending money. Unless your parents teach you, no, don't. Just play the cheapest possible game you can do. Just have fun. Just run around outside, swing sticks around, and play on the playground, and make up games yourself. You don't have to buy stuff. I'm not going to give you money so that you can blow it on these stupid games. But hey, as kids, we would take our quarters and go to the video arcade and play. It's like, oh, mom, can I have some more quarters? It's like, no, no, you can't. So nowadays you got emulation. You can play all those games for free if you want to, or buy a compilation with like a million arcade games on it, and like, yeah, whatever. But back then it was a special treat. It was like, wow, having enough quarters to actually play the game that you want and actually win it, amazing. So yeah, video games were a thing for us then. For if you're a kid in the 80s, let's see what else. Yeah, I think board game wise, yeah, Tripoli was really awesome. There was Connect Four. Everybody liked Connect Four, but it's really just tic tac toe, but with four instead of three. And it was just more of a gimmick than anything. But again, it's one of those games that like you would beg your parents to give it to you for Christmas or your birthday, and then you'd get it, and then your friends would come over and play it, and that would be it. You know, Clue. Yeah, I played Clue once. A friend of mine had Clue. Cluedo, they called it in other countries. I think I played it once. I was joking on the forums that you could play Clue Hero Quest Edition because they did make a Dungeons and Dragons uh, Cluedo, or Hero Quest Risk. You might have to 3D print some extra stuff. Museum Caper. Oh, Clue Museum Caper. Well, there were a lot of versions of Clue out there where they added more pieces. But generally it was like, okay, the whole point of Clue is there was a murder. Somebody was murdered. It's a murder mystery. It's a thriller, and they got killed by one of these weapons. So they either got hanged with a rope, or they got bludgeoned with a candlestick, or shot with a pistol, or stabbed with a knife, clubbed to death with a wrench. That's kind of brutal and kind of violent, kind of scary. Even though, I mean, you don't see any blood or anything. It's just you're trying to solve the mystery. It's a whodunit. It's a detective story. But I think because of that, some parents were reluctant to get it, so they kind of toned the game down. It's like, well, who knocked the cake over, or who stole the dog, or some other less scary, less gruesome, CSI type of plot. But yeah, Clue is a classic game, so I maybe played it once. There was another game called Fireball Island, and yeah, if you follow like James Rolfe, Board James, he covers that. But yeah, you had to roll these marbles, knock the explorers down off the board. Hungry Hungry Hippos, yeah, that was another gimmicky game because the commercials were just made it look like the coolest thing in the world. And yeah, parents were afraid of kids swallowing the marbles, choking on the marbles. So yeah, some of these games were just designed for kids, and it was like after you kind of outgrow that phase, then you just don't play it anymore. Like Sorry or Trouble. They had the Pop-O-Matic bubble in the center, so like the kids wouldn't roll the dice because they might choke on the dice, put it in their mouth. So just a little bubble, and you just press the bubble, and it would pop because there'd be like a little piece of metal. It would bend back, and that's kind of a neat gimmick. It could be a travel game, I guess. Of course, you had to just move the pieces around. Museum Caper had one person as a thief stealing paintings. Oh, that's interesting. Instead of a murder, Alfred Hitchcock. Okay, well, guys, I think I'm done for now. See if I can do anything else today. But we did our Space Crusade. We talked a lot about other types of games. I wouldn't mind doing some other type of game here. I mean, I am totally focused on Hero Quest and Hero Quest related games like Space Crusade, Battle Masters, but just reminiscing about other games is fine. There's all kinds of computer games out there that are based on these games, which could be interesting to do. Lurch Brick did isometric Hero Quest. He did Space Crusade. He did, I want to say Battle Masters as well. But yeah, there's some homebrew fan games out there that could be interesting. Hero Quest PC game. Of course, there's the NES game that was never released, the beta prototype. I think it was like an alpha, actually. Yeah, not even a beta. But I mean, those could be interesting. Some people don't know about those or don't know how they play. You're behind a Zargon screen using a paper map to make your moves. You had the ability to cut camera wires. Was fun. Oh, this Museum Caper Clue. Yeah, I never heard of that. Sounds interesting. Oh yeah, Candyland. Candyland was a classic. But I mean, once you got it over past a certain age, it was kind of like not that interesting to play it. So, I mean, the only time I played it after that was like, if a younger kid wanted to play it, it's like, okay, we'll play it with you. Good old Candyland. There were a couple other educational games we had that probably nobody's heard of. There was a Scrabble game that had like you do math problems like arithmetic, like really simple stuff. It's kind of boring, but yeah, it was just to like okay, let's make learning a little bit more fun. There was another game that we had called Dino Bones, where you're basically building a puzzle, a dinosaur skeleton puzzle, but you had to find the puzzle pieces as you went. There was another game called Zookeeper, and that one, these were really simple games. So yeah, as you got older, they weren't that much fun to play unless you were playing with a little kid, like showing them, teaching them how to play, memory and learning all that sort of stuff. It was called Zookeeper, and you had to just find cards, and you'd use like the tokens would actually be like little plastic toy animals, like the kind you get at the grocery store, little toy section, cheap toys. So it's kind of cute. And you put the animal cards inside this like cardboard thing that looked like it had like bars on it. So it was like the zoo cages. Once you got enough animals, you'd win. Upwards was a cool Scrabble-like game. You could stack letters to change words. Yeah. But yeah, at a certain point, board games kind of had a resurgence. It became a fad that it's like, oh yeah, family game night, play board games. Because when I was like in high school, it was all card games. You just brought your deck of cards and you play cards. And yeah, some people would play Magic the Gathering because that was brand new. And you had your Pogs and you had your, flash in the pan, stuff like that. But it was pretty much just play cards or play nothing. But yeah, at a certain point, we grew up and then board games were back. And so people were buying board games again. So yeah, it's similar to what it was in the 80s. Except now instead of just, you watch TV and you see all these TV commercials for games, for kids or for families. Oh yeah, Trivial Pursuit. That was a game, I think I played it once or twice, like at a friend's house. But Trivial Pursuit, like if you want a copy of Trivial Pursuit, don't buy it at the store. Just go to like a thrift store, go to like a flea market or a, thrift store. You'll find like just stacks of Trivial Pursuit because when somebody passes away, they had Trivial Pursuit and it goes to an estate sale. It goes through there. Or, they're just cleaning out. It's like, what does everybody got? Everybody's got Trivial Pursuit. So depending on what year it came out, that's going to be how up to date it is. Cards Against Humanity is a really popular game. I've never actually played it. I know tons of people who just love that game, but they're always like, "Oh, it's let's just not play that." Like they're too embarrassed to play it because it's edgy and uh, it's meant to shock you. Okay. Yeah, I think Striker. I think I agree with you. I think at a certain age, it was like board games are for kids. Yeah, they're either for kids or for playing with your mom and dad when you're young. And yeah, Monopoly. I mean, even Monopoly, it was just like, yeah, you at a certain point, it's like video games and card games. That's what you play now. There's this idea that it was, yeah, kidified. Yeah, and then the nostalgia brought you back. Yeah, and then the merchants were like, "Yes, now I can sell this to you." But I've noticed it has gone back over to people just saying, "Yeah, I want to play a board game with other adults." Like it could be couples, it could be friends, neighbors. It's not just like you playing with a game with your kids so that they can have the same experience that you had when you played it with your parents. It's like, yeah, adults playing with each other. Monopoly on the NES. Yeah, that's so silly. It's like, oh, I'm too cool to play Monopoly, but I'll play it on the NES. And the funny thing is, like the NES, a lot of people thought of it as a kid's toy when it came out. The Nintendo Entertainment System. It's a kid's toy. It's for kids. I mean, really, those controllers, they were so small. Like they hurt my hands. Like I played it and I would have been like 8, and older, but it was still around when I was, a teenager. And it was like, gee, why would you ever play this? It's so terrible. I mean, Sega Genesis had much. I mean, even Super Nintendo controllers were much more comfortable for your hands. Of course, I always had the death grip for playing games. Over the years, I had to teach myself, no, 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 gentle, so that you can play for hours and hours instead of like, you play intensely for a while and then your hands are still sore. You have to stop and do your homework. Yeah. Well, it all depends. I mean, you can go to these game shops, these elite game shops, where you buy Dungeons and Dragons and you buy comic books and all that stuff. And a lot of times they'll have a game space where you can play. But yeah, it's usually the nerdier, geekier type of games. It's your Warhammer and your Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons and that sort of thing. But you can play Hero Quest there. I'm not sure if I'd want to take my Space Crusade set there. I mean, not saying someone's going to steal my pieces, but I don't know. Kind of like protect it. Yeah. But yeah, you could go there and just be like, hey, we're just going to play Monopoly. We don't care. You know, hardcore 5 book players. The death grip, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. When I was a kid, it was like, okay, I've only got 2 quarters. These quarters have got to last me. So I'd be just like super intense playing a game. And afterwards, my hands would be just really sore. And if I went over to a friend's house to play like Nintendo with them, like they're used to it. Like they've played these games to death. They're bored. The fact that they're playing with me like makes it more interesting. Like, oh, finally, a second player. Whereas I'm playing it like I'm like, oh, I don't know this game, and I'm just like super intense with it. And you could rent a game system back in the day. Like you rent the game system, and then you're like, my hands. I remember putting like my thumbs on ice because they hurt so much. But then when I got my own game system, it's like, okay, I can just kind of chill out and actually enjoy the game rather than having that anxiety. Because games are supposed to be fun. They're not supposed to be anxiety producing. It's supposed to relieve stress. Stacks of game manuals at a table. Yep. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us here on HeroQuest Fans. So we just talked the last bit. I don't know if I'll chop that out or just kind of keep it as part of the end of the stream there. So yeah, go check out everybody in the stream. Go check out Strange Bus, Amalgamash, all these people. Oh yeah, it's the Fritz. Thanks for joining us. Sorry that you missed the game of Space Crusade. We will be playing HeroQuest tomorrow on Twitch stream here, and all of this will be posted on YouTube shortly. Again, I'm sorry it takes so long. Sometimes it just takes like 2 or 3 hours. I think it's one time it took all evening to post. It was just like, come on, guys. Like I don't have any music playing, so what are you trying to push on me here? So who knows? All right, I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you everybody for joining us here on HeroQuest Fans. Follow us, sign up. I almost said rate, comment, subscribe, but that's more of a YouTube thing. People say. All right, okay. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. And well, it's almost Easter time, so not happy Easter yet, but soon. All right, we're done.